So you just bought your new Mitsubishi Evo 10 to be exact. Congratulations, they are a freaking amazing car. Today I'm going to show you 3 things that you should be doing right off the bat, right when you get your car, I would say within a day or 2 of getting the car, getting it home. These are 3 things you should be doing right away for preventative maintenance. The first thing is going to be kind of obvious to some people, to other people not so much, and that is changing your oil. You want to get your oil swapped out right away for a very high quality oil. What I run is AM's oil, full synthetic 5W30. I'll have this link down in the description box below. You're gonna need 5 quarts of this, and then you're gonna need get out of here, you freaking fly. And you're gonna need a new oil filter as well. I would recommend a Napa Gold filter or just the factory OEM Mitsubishi oil filter. I'll have everything linked down in the description box below. So go ahead, get your oil swapped out immediately. The reason you want to get your oil swapped out, you don't know how long the previous owner had their oil in there for. You don't know what kind of oil they're running. You don't know if it's high quality or not. So just do yourself a favor, get that swapped out. You don't want to be blowing your motor up on your new car. The second thing I would highly recommend is getting all of your relays swapped out, specifically your fuel pump relay. I'll have a relay kit linked down in the description box below. It comes with about 4 or 5 relays. The first one's a fuel pump relay. The second one is a throttle actuator motor relay. Third one is a starter relay. And then there's an injector relay and a main MFI relay. Mitsubishi did have some sort of TSB or recall on these, so I'd highly recommend getting these swapped out. A few different reasons. Number one, you don't want your starter relay to go out because then you won't be able to start your car. And the second thing, if you have the older style fuel pump relay in when you get your car how it is from the factory, your AFRs are going to be all over the place. They're going to be running super lean. So make sure you get all these relays swapped out. Like I said, these will be down in the description box below. Very cheap insurance. It's a good way to make sure you're not blowing up your car. You're not being left stranded in the middle of nowhere in the desert or in the freaking mountains or something when you're snowboarding. So just go spend the $60 to $70, get all those relays swapped out. Now the third thing is something I should have done right when I got the car. I haven't even done it yet, but I'm going to be doing it today. And that is a clutch fork stop. If you guys have been following along on the channel, if you've been subscribed for a while, you would know I just went through and had to swap out the clutch throwout bearing clip. That all could have been avoided if I had this clutch fork stop. Not a lot of people talk about it and not a lot of people know about it, but in my honest opinion, it's something you guys should be doing immediately. So this is all it is. It's a little aluminum bracket. I'll have this link down in the description box below if you guys want to go pick one up, which I would highly recommend you do. It's a little aluminum bracket that bolts onto where your clutch slave cylinder sits. It doesn't allow the clutch fork to come back past a certain point. So in my scenario, what happened is I was shifting at a very high RPM, going from first to second gear, probably about 7,000 RPM. When that happens, there's a clip on the backside of the throwout bearing that can fall off, and it happens quite frequently, honestly. So if you pick up one of these clutch fork stoppers, that will avoid that issue completely. Now if your throwout bearing clip already fell off, you already have the tranny out, you get the ACT monolock collar, which is what I have on here. I am adding this for extra insurance. I don't need it whatsoever, but for the $40, I'm gonna put it on just for extra insurance, extra peace of mind for myself, knowing that I can now smash through those gears again and not worry about that clutch throwout bearing clip falling off. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually walk you guys through on how to install this right now, but definitely do yourself a favor, pick up one of these clutch fork stoppers. You will not regret it in the long run. Trust me. Let's just go ahead, throw this thing on right now. So open your hood. It should be very, very easy to install. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is thread this nut onto the bolt. Just throw it on like that, and then we can thread this bolt into the clutch stopper arm. All right, now we gotta get this clutch stopper arm onto the car. You're gonna need a 12mm socket along with a 1/4 inch ratchet. Should be the only tool you need. And what we're gonna be pulling off with this is the clutch slave cylinder. Let me show you where that is located. So if you come down here, open the hood. If you have a factory airbox, you're gonna have to pull the airbox off, but I have the ETS intake on here. So these 2 bolts are, let me point to them. Those 2 bolts right there, that one there, that one there. We're gonna have to pull both of those bolts out. That clutch stopper arm is gonna sit with those 2 bolts. So we're gonna take those 2 bolts out, put that up in there, and then throw those 2 bolts back in. Now when you're installing this clutch stopper arm, it's gonna sit like this. So this section is gonna be pointing to the bottom of the car. It's gonna go on just how it looks right here. After you get the clutch fork stopper on, it should look something like that. Now we need to adjust this bolt. I know you guys can't really see, but we're adjusting this bolt. We need to have 1/8 inch clearance between the end of the bolt, which is gonna act as the actual stopper itself, and the clutch fork. So make sure there's an 1/8 inch gap in there. You don't want it touching all the way. You want an 1/8 inch gap. If I could show you guys, I would, but I can't really pull my whole car apart to show you. So once you get the 1/8 inch gap, we're gonna just thread in that lock nut. I hope you guys can see that little nut I'm threading. Throw that lock nut in and then just tighten that down using a 7/16. So like I said, guys, you need a 1/4 inch gap in between. See if you can see down here between the end of that bolt. You need a 1/4 inch gap between the bolt and the clutch stopper itself, or the clutch fork itself. As soon as you get all that done, get that adjustment proper, you're done installing that. Now you may be thinking, Devin, why do I even need that clutch stopper? The reason you need it is under hard shifts, like I said earlier, the clutch fork can return too far, causing that clip to rip off. This is just a simple $40 fix, $40 in preventative maintenance to make sure you don't have to pull your tranny and address the issue itself. This will fix it completely. Like, as soon as you install this, you're never gonna have to worry about it again. The only thing I need to tell you guys with this is you need to be checking the adjustment. They recommend every 3,000 miles. So what I'm going to be doing every time I change my oil, every 3,000 miles is when I'm changing my oil, you should be checking the adjustment, making sure you have the 1/8 inch gap. If you don't check the adjustment and your clutch fork is hitting that and not coming back to exactly where it should be, your clutch can start slipping, causing premature wear in your clutch and causing you to think that your clutch is actually going bad and when it's actually not. So I really hope these 3 things help you out. Let's do a little recap. Number 1, get that oil swapped out for a high quality oil. I personally recommend AMSOIL 5W30. No, I'm not sponsored by them. This channel is not sponsored by AMSOIL. I just absolutely love their products. I run them and everything. So AMSOIL 5W30, link down in the description box below. Number 2 is the fuses. I guess I didn't, or the relays, my bad. I didn't show you where they were. They are in this fuse panel over here. I'll throw a very detailed write-up for you down in the description box below. I've already done my relays on this car, so I'm not going to make another video on it. But I'll be sure to include that write-up down in the description box, and a link to where you can purchase the relays. So that's number 2. Number 3 is that clutch fork stopper. That is 100% necessary. I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. It'll save you a hell of a lot of time in the long run. Just be making sure that every time you change oil, you're checking that adjustment. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Really hope it helped you out. Like I mentioned earlier a few times, everything that I talked about in this video, all the parts and products you're gonna need are down in the description box below. Go use those links. It helps the channel out, helps you provide these awesome videos for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button right up in that corner. See you next time.